This is another episode of the Backstage Sports Podcast. I'm Joe Connor.
I'm JT Harker.
And today we have a super special guest, another one for you guys. This is another phenomenal drummer and musical director and producer. Some of his credits include Smokey Norfolk, Donnie McClurkin, and Martha Manunzi. One of my favorites that he works with is Israel Houghton. He's Israel's MD. Israel and New Breed. We gotta give. We always say we respect the resume on the show, but I gotta give some personal flowers. I'm typically a fan of everybody who comes on the show, but this is special today because he might not remember this, but he was an OG at Berkeley when I came into Berkeley, right? So when I got into Berkeley, he was with the JoJo crew. Evan and all of them and Justin Rames, and these dudes was like gods to us. Okay, you ask anybody from our camp will tell you like they was the gods. Like we got on campus and it was like we thought we was, you are, especially going to a school like Berkeley, most of the people are big fish coming from little ponds, right? So you the jocks where you come from. But then you get to an institution like Berkeley. And so you looking at the lay of the land, and man, his crew, they was the guys. They was touring with JoJo at the time, who I also loved and still love. And it came full circle because I got a chance to work with JoJo and play with JoJo a couple years ago.
Word.
Yeah,
dope.
so that was dope. But these dudes was the guys, and they've continued to set the bar high further on into their professional careers. The work he did on the covered Live in Asia album, y'all, was, I mean, even if you are not a religious person or a spiritual person, if you just love amazing arrangements and dope music, and just like, I was like, oh, okay, it's levels to this, and we all still got a long way to go. When I heard what he did when I heard what he did on Israel's covered Alive in Asia album, it's a masterpiece. So I want to give you your flowers for that, but also welcome you to the show. His name is Kevin Camp. Thank you for coming to the show, man.
Man, I'm so glad to be here. I finally get to get my Stephen A on.
Get it on.
I'm secretly living vicariously, right now. So, man, I appreciate that, bro, and I'm glad that we get to do this, man. And shout out Berkeley fam, you already know till the end, man.
Yeah, so the other thing that he's representing today is Bill's Mafia. He's a big member of Bill's Mafia. And I would he has stated many times on social media how people haven't really been giving Bill's Mafia their respect. And so we're gonna do, and I tend to agree with that. So we're definitely gonna get into that today. But the first thing we want to know is, especially us being artists and being in this apocalyptic world where everything is super weird and our way of life has shifted so drastically. Can you tell us what's your new normal, and what are some of the things or some of the new things that you have picked up in this quarantine life since it kind of hit?
I mean, for me personally, I've always been a homebody, so I was always socially distancing. You know what I mean? When I see people, it's like kind of like the pound, always, kind of like just quick dot and, keep it moving. I get to my station, or, if I'm on the road or whatever, kind of get to my station, get to my room, get to my seat on the plane, So I've just, always been a homebody, from the studio to church to the airport, so not really that social, So as far as like any new things I picked up, I guess, I'm really just in the business right now of helping some of these institutions, whether it be churches or businesses, with their online streaming and just getting their audio and things together. Where I'm from, Buffalo, New York, there's no knock to my city, but it just is what it is. We kind of 20 years behind on things. And so, as far as once everything kind of hit, there was a lot of places that weren't really ready and prepared. So, I'm just trying to be a help to get people to, get 2021, when it comes to all of this virtual streaming. COVID kind of leveled the playing field for a lot of institutions or people, their podcasts, blogs, online, social media, church concerts and things of that nature. So, just kind of getting people up to date. So that's a passion of mine. Working on records. Yeah. Working on something right now. I had a little computer trouble today. Want to throw it in the garbage, but I didn't. So, hey, man, just staying the course, and just staying productive, staying positive, and I guess not watching the news.
Yeah. How about that? Because I had to unplug. I had to unplug from that this past week, especially being sick. I couldn't. I feel like I came down with the COVID, and I didn't want to hear how many people was dying. Especially being in LA with the rates going up. Okay. JT was also away last week because he had to deal with some family stuff. So we also are welcoming our co-host JT back into the fold. What was your experience like last week? How was your trip up north with your family and everything?
It was good, man. I got to see a lot of family that I don't see all the time. And I'm born and raised San Jose. Shout out San Jose and Bay Area. And moved away to chase the music dream when I was 20 years old. Yeah. And I've been doing it ever since. And, it's taken me a lot of places, but it hasn't taken me back home a whole lot. So it was nice to get back up there. And one of the heads of our family that, is the first that I'm dealing with from that generation to leave us, passed away. And I wasn't able to make the funeral. So it was nice to go up and be with family and all that stuff. But it was cool, man. I did watch the Warrior game where Steph scored 62.
Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about that,
which was crazy. But actually, I love it because the night after, someone on the other team called him mortal. He decides to go for 62, so that was fun.
Okay, and I don't know about that, so you gotta hold on to that. I don't know. I want to know about that. Yeah.
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great, man. But it's good to be back. Long drive, left at 4 a.m. Took a nap on the way. Got home, took a nap.
Yeah, you're playing injured today.
Back at it.
Yeah, you low-key playing injured today. Okay, well, let's get into it to get JT some rest and get Kev out of here. All right, so we got to start with the debacle that happened on Sunday Night Football. Everybody at this point knows what happened, and we've all heard the theories, and we've heard people or seen people online with their various opinions about it. Doug Peterson, in my opinion, tried to get fired on Sunday Night Football. When it immediately happened, when he immediately benched Jalen Hurts for Nate Sudfeld, who's been a backup in Philly for about 4 years. When that happened, I was confused, and everybody I knew was confused. Like, I'm talking to, like, Eagles fans and family, and everybody's like, what the hell is going on? Like, I was genuinely confused. I don't think I've ever felt like that level of, like, puzzlement. Like, I had no idea. I didn't even have anything to throw out there. So I immediately get on Twitter and I just start searching for stuff, like just seeing what any of the pundits are saying or what anybody's saying. Everybody was equally confused. And then I saw some tweets from some of the Giants players, and I think it was Saquon Barkley who actually tweeted, make this make sense. And then somebody responded to him and said, if the Eagles lose, they pick at 6th in the draft. If they win, they pick at 9th. And so I saw that, and I was like, oh, so that's what this was about? Immediately didn't like it. Thought it was weak sauce. Thought that, to me, it's not worth, I thought that there was a lot more at stake than just a draft, 3 or 4 draft slots. Like, I feel like you have your young quarterback in Jalen Hurts, who you also need to see what he looks like in a comeback mode against, a pretty good team in a close game. And you want him to take that momentum to the offseason, because whether you like it or not, I think the toothpaste is out of the tube with Carson Wentz, and you can't really – going back to him is not realistic to me, especially when Jalen, in my opinion, outplayed him. So I thought that it was a piss poor move. What was you guys' initial reaction when that happened?
You'll go for it, Kevin?
I think my initial reaction was kind of what you said, like, oh, he trying to get fired. Yeah. Then once I found out, like, about the picks, and I just had to calculate, I'm like, well, are they going to be in the playoffs? Like, were they making the playoffs? No. I don't think so, right? No. So it's like, from a business standpoint, you know, like on a manager type situation.
Yeah.
I had to look at it from that, you know, play devil's advocate and look at it from that aspect. Like, yo, 6th to 9th, it is a pretty big difference, you know, in NFL. I don't know. I just looked at it a couple different ways. Like even just the quarterback that went in third stringer, like that might not be, you know, Coach Pederson's dude, you know, and just kind of showing them like, yo, yeah, this dude's not cutting it. Like, we got to get rid of him. You know, it could have been that way. Or, you know, let's preserve Jalen, you know, make sure he doesn't get hurt. But I don't think he was going to get hurt or anything on that play. I just think it was a straight strategic business move. And I am a competitive person. I play ball. So if I'm a Bills person, you know, if anytime I can stick it to the Patriots, I'm going to stick it to the Patriots.
Right.
And if they felt like they needed to stick it to the Jets, the Giants, stick it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's it probably is unethical, as they would say, but it's a competitive sport, and you know, Belichick's been unethical.
Yeah.
And the Patriots have been unethical for a while too.
That's true. That's a fact.
To be you know, on top. So my take.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Kevin on that one. I actually did not stay up on, other than the Warriors game, I didn't really stay up on a lot of the sports going on. And I did see the headline on it. It flashed on my phone. I didn't know exactly what it was about, but yeah, what Kevin said sounds right to me.
So my issue was not that it's week 17, right? This is not the first time that we've seen somebody kind of do their own thing. In the same week, in the same year, Mike Tomlin pretty much did the same thing. It wasn't him putting other people in the game or kind of like just resting players or not playing players or whatever. It was how he did it for me. It was the fact that if you wanted to, first of all, what he said in his press conference, which was total bullshit to me, was he wanted to get Nate Sudfeld reps. As a matter of fact, let's actually listen to what he said, because we have a little soundbite.
What up, bites?
From what he said. So let's listen to what he said.
Yes, I was coaching and win to win. Yes, that was my decision solely. Nate has obviously been here for 4 years, and I felt that he deserved an opportunity to get some snaps. And listen, if there's anything out there that thinks that I was not trying to win the game, I mean, you know, Ertz is out there, Brandon Graham's out there, Darius Slay's out there. You know, all our top guys are still on the field at the end. So we were going to win the game.
Okay. I have a number of issues with that. Let's start with what he said about the top guys being out there. Okay. Here's the list of inactives before the game: Carson Wentz, Alshon Jeffrey, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Fletcher Cox, Derek Barnett, Deshaun Jackson. What are you talking about? That's literally our entire, like, it's almost the entire offensive starting. So Jalen Hurts already didn't have anybody there to throw to. He didn't have his starting running back. He didn't have his best wide receiver. He didn't have his second best wide receiver. So the notion that, like, well, we went into the game and was trying to win the game is complete bullshit to me. Like, that's the other thing. I didn't like that he stood up in the press conference and, like, spewed this, like, don't insult my intelligence. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can see before the game, if you were an Eagles fans, you got a notification before the game that half the starters were not going to play, right?
Right.
And so you kind of went into that. So if that was your thing where you were just like, okay, I want to see what Nate Sudfeld has, then start him. Just start him from the beginning of the game, right? The other thing that doesn't line up with that notion is that Nate Sudfeld has been there for 4 years.
Dang.
You waited for year 4 to be like, oh, now I want to see what he has. Like, if you haven't seen what Nate Sudfeld can do for 4 years, that's you, right, bro. Like, I don't know what have you been doing in practice and scrimmage and preseason, and, like, I don't get the notion. Like, don't insult our intelligence. Like, that was some idiotic BS to say to me. And so it wasn't that he did it, it was how he did it. It was his comments in the press conference. It was waiting until the game was literally on the brink of being tied to then go for it in a 4th and like 8 or something like that. Like, that didn't make any sense when all you had to do was kick the field goal. And so then you don't kick the field goal. You go into the 4th quarter down 3 points, and then you put your backup quarterback. Your backup's backup in. So that's why it just, to me, it was a little more than just somebody, I just want to see what the backup is. So and not only that, but it is your locker room too. Like, so at the end of the game, if you looked on Twitter or watched any of the news clips, there, Zach Ertz is on the field. He looked pretty upset. You had Jason Kelce on the field looking pretty upset. It was like weird because it was also like an hour or two after the game, right? So it was like the players, Miles Sanders came out and actually made a comment. Miles Sanders said that nobody on the team was in favor of the decision, and that a number of players were said to have had held back from approaching Doug Peterson in the locker room. That's not good. And that's not how you want to go into the offseason. I don't know how you go back into the locker room in the start of next season with some of those same players and try to, now they have to trust you, right? The saying has gone on for years that it takes forever to build trust and a second to break it. And I think he built up a lot of trust and a lot of equity with that Super Bowl win, and he brought it down in almost a half of a game. So
I agree.
Sounds like he wanted there. And it seemed like most of the season, not most, but about midway through the season, that we were on here questioning his decisions a lot. And it seems like
all year. We've been questioning his decision making all year.
He's just not happy there. And he's also not the one, as far as I know, that's making the decisions to not draft DK Metcalf, not the wide receiver they should have drafted. So I mean, if you're the coach, that's got to be frustrating. Yeah, you're passing on receivers, you're passing on things you need and making bad picks.
Top receivers.
And you're the one that's got to go out and coach them.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing is for sure, like you mentioned about the Super Bowl, and he's built up his, because of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think he's not going anywhere, though.
I don't think he is either. I think that the situation with Wentz, and I was talking about this the other week with somebody online, the situation with Wentz is it's done. Like, so Wentz, the news came out before the game Sunday that Wentz asked to be traded. Like, I don't know if he leaked it to the media or, somebody from his team leaked it to the media or whatever, but Wentz is kind of done. And I knew that Wentz was done when Jalen Hurts, after his first game, Jalen Hurts looked so much better than Wentz. As a rookie, I was like, oh, he lost his job. And then Jalen Hurts went and beat the hottest team in the league in New Orleans. And then I was like, okay, he really lost his job because we had been on a 3 or 4 game losing streak or something like that. And they put in a rookie, and all of a sudden it looks like a completely different offense. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that Wentz, feels like he wants to leave and wants to go somewhere else. But I don't think that I think that if anybody is going to get moved, it's going to be Carson Wentz before it is Doug Peterson. I would move him.
Absolutely. And so when it comes to, the trust of the team, because I feel like that was one thing that Carson Wentz lost also. So soon as Hurts came in, teams like, man, he was a leader, he was this, going all hype, So on the flip side with Doug Peterson, I know it's not the same dynamic, but I kind of look at it as like with Seattle when they should have gave that ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it was never the same. The team was never the same after that.
So do you think, you don't think that the coach got the team's trust back again?
Right.
And that was a crucial game. That's the Super Bowl. This is a little different, but
right.
I feel like Doug Peterson can, bounce back from that. If it was a Super Bowl situation, it would be a different dynamic. So,
that's a good point. Like, I definitely think that's a good point. Like, the Super Bowl thing killed them, that team. Like, they had to break that team up. And this is because this is not, at that magnitude of a game. But I think just Jason Kelce's, what he said was so spot on. Even though it was like the week before, it was so spot on because Philly is about winning. It's a blue collar like fan base, like super gritty, grindy, like ride hard for you, ride or die fan base, and stuff like that in this city with this fan base will kill you. You know what I'm saying? With this ownership, because he also stood up at the end of the game and said, I made that decision by myself and it wasn't an ownership thing, which I didn't think it was ownership at the time either. I think you try to win that game unless the funny thing is, like you said, unless it was Dallas, because in reality, we don't like the Giants and we don't like the Washington football team with no name, but we hate Dallas more than anything. If Dallas had won that game, I think we throw that game from the beginning of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just how he did it. It was just weird. The other person that he pissed off was a former football player. Let's look at the video that he put out.
Doug Peterson at Philly. What are you talking about? The guy practiced and he deserved reps. This isn't Notre Dame. Sutfield is not Rudy. Give me a break. That was disgraceful. I'm just saying.
Okay, so you fucked up when O.J. Simpson is upset with you.
If there's anybody that knows about killing seasons, he's the one that knows.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm also fearful for Doug Peterson's life because
who just said that?
Not me. Not me, Juice. I'm from Buffalo. I love you.
Listen. OJ seems like he might have a problem with Doug Peterson, and I don't think Doug wants them type of problems. Okay,
you don't want those problems.
He really killed it with that comment.
Yeah.
Oh man, you are punning us.
I'm gonna be doing this all day. Dad jokes coming all day, bro.
All day. So that was another issue. You don't want to piss off OJ Simpson. And then last but not least, Giants coach Joe Judge came out in a press conference today. Now, as much as I disagree with everything that Doug Peterson did, what we won't do is have these pile-ons from the woe it's me Giants people. You know what I'm saying? Right. Giants head coach Joe Judge did a press conference and just lambasted Doug Peterson and everything that he did and how it was the integrity of the game and blah, 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 blah. My thing is with this, with Joe Judge. If you cared this much and this made you so upset, you could have done your job all year and won more than 6 games. You could have done your job and not left the playoff hopes for your team in the hands of a 4-11 football team. So you have to me, it's not the message, it's the messenger. Like, don't come out and start criticizing Doug Peterson because your team that started 1-5 all of a sudden had their playoff bubble bursted.
They were 0-5.
They were actually 0-5.
Right.
So excuse me. So now you're upset with Doug Peterson because he killed your last-ditch effort to make the playoffs. Like, nah, we can't do that. You need to go somewhere and lick your own wounds quietly. Didn't like the Joe Judge thing. Thought that was weak sauce. So that was that. Okay, we got to get to Bills Mafia. So the question is, for me.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah. The question is,
can we start with congratulations, the Bills, who have been not great, up and down to bad forever. When I was a kid, I witnessed them go to 4 straight Super Bowls and not win one.
Yeah.
Rooting for them pretty much every time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Back on the top rope if you're not watching, Kev got all the Bills Mafia paraphernalia now. He got the blanket with the hat, all of it. Okay.
I love it. And then my Bay Area alum, Tom Brady, goes and dominates that division forever. And now Bills win the division.
Yeah.
Patriots look like they've got some things to figure out.
Yeah.
Going to the playoffs. Josh Allen's phenomenal. You got Stephon Diggs,
Looks
bunch of
good.
other Future's bright.
Yeah.
Future's
what a pickup.
bright.
So my question is a 2-part question. One, are the Bills the hottest team in the league right now? And should they be Super Bowl favorites? Like, is everybody sleeping on the Bills?
I'm going to let you take it, man.
Oh, no, I'm going to let you all take it because you already know my answer.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. So, I actually watched the Bills play a lot this year, and I don't remember why, but I think they just ended up lined up with a lot of guys I had in fantasy. And I saw them look really bad once or twice after they'd been on a win streak. But mostly I saw them look really good. The defense is solid. The offense is high-powered, talent. Josh Allen has been improving every game and every season. And I would say I would put him as a favorite just because I've got to go with the Chiefs, who have obviously already done it. They've got all the experience now, and Patrick Mahomes is crazy. But I would put them as my number 2 team. I had the Steelers as my number 2 team, and I still think with their experience, and you get 2 weeks to prepare for some of these guys, it wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers could still make it happen. But my money would be on the Bills over the Steelers. I mean, that's top 2 teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that. I can respect that take. And, you know, I don't feel any type of way. But I will say, as a native Buffalo, New Yorker, a 716er.
Yeah.
The vibes that are going through the city and
it's
just going through the team, like it would be 2020 when all this is in 2021 when we can't go to the stadium and jump off tables and do the craziest stuff, you know, ever. But it's happening. It's happening before our eyes. I was fortunate and unfortunate to go to the Houston game last year when we were in the playoffs and we lost by that field goal. And I just feel like if I felt the way that I felt, I know the players felt that way. And just like, yo, we about to work this offseason. We're about to grind it out to see the transformation of Josh Allen, the maturity. Like, I'm going to be straight up. I wasn't a fan, you know, in the beginning. And I feel like that was more so on the coaching, you know, letting them do a lot of hero ball and just, you know, just trying to figure it out. But the maturity, his pace, his decision-making, and then just seeing him use his body and his athleticism and his choices. And then, of course, you know, the weapons that we have. When that happened, I was just elated. Of course, you know, that miracle catch that he caught against the
that might have been one of the most underrated moves in the offseason. I feel like that move didn't get talked about enough.
No, because we Buffalo and we a small market team and, you know, all of that. And then the other move, Cole Beasley. Like, come on, you know, that came out of nowhere. So just the vibes, everything, the coaching staff, man, like, that's the one thing that I'm a little concerned about is, you know, next year and they're trying to take our offensive coordinator, you know, head coaching positions and things of that nature. But I think for this year right now, we are going to be there. And
it looks good, especially because, you know, at least from what I've seen, no one looks like a runaway favorite right now. On either side, the NFC, AFC, you know, a bunch of teams could make it happen. But no one looks like they're the dominant team that's unbeatable right now. To be honest, if anybody right now going into the playoffs looks like that, it might be the Bills.
That's what I was about to say. To me, it actually, if there is and not a far and away favorite, but like if there is somebody who seems to be distancing themselves from the pack or a pack, to me, it's the Bills. The Chiefs didn't really finish the year too hot. You know
they just won by like what, 3 points?
Yeah. They didn't
They're getting it done, but they don't look amazing.
They don't look great. And so, you know, do they have the best record? Yeah. But to me, what you want, and I think what the consensus is from people who have played the game, who have watched the game, who have studied the game is you want to streak into the playoffs. Like you want to be the hottest team going into the playoffs because your record doesn't matter at the end of the season, especially when you're in there. So to me, the Bills should kind of be the favorite because they are the hottest team going in. They're the hottest team going in right now. And so
don't get me wrong, though. Don't get me twisted. That Patrick Mahomes is a different beast. So I don't know if they were just taking their foot off the gas a little bit just to kind of rest up and just not do too much because, you know, people are gunning for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was their move, but I watched that Houston game when they played Houston last year. They was down like by 20 or something, like way more than 20, and they just heroed them back.
There was a game last year. It was played. They called it the Super Bowl, and my Niners were in it, and it was the same thing. We had a big lead. I'm in a house full of Kansas City fans, but and everyone's like, "Oh man, it's over." I'm like, "Oh, it ain't. I don't feel good right now. I don't feel good right." And sure enough, they come back and get it done.
Yeah, it's definitely. to me, the situation with the Chiefs is, I respect the Chiefs, and we talked about this last week, comparing them a little bit to the Warriors during the war, when the Warriors were streaking and those hot years. To me, it could be a little bit of the Warrior syndrome where they kind of got bored with the regular season and until towards the end of the season. If you look at the Chiefs' record, the Chiefs really, take away the one loss that they had this year, they haven't lost a game in like 2 years almost. Like, you know, they're so to me, there can be a little bit of senioritis here, and I will give them that. Looking at how they played against the Falcons and the Chargers last, like I said, doesn't give me confidence in picking them as to be the favorite, because you want to pick the team that's the hottest, that's streaking going in and has looked consistently good, which has been the Bills. But I definitely don't. I'm not overlooking the Chiefs, but I just think that we just should call it a spade a spade. The Bills are the hottest team in the league right now. And
hey, man. And given everything that we've said, you know, even concerning the Bills, but everything we said about the Chiefs and their comeback wins, that's why our defense has to be on point.
Yeah. Oh, you know,
our defense is going to win this game. Like, we know we can put up points, but they say defense wins games, and this game is going to be, or whenever we play the Chiefs, you know, it's like that's when our defense is going to have to step up. You know,
it's one of those things where you're not going to stop them. So it's going to come down to one or two key stops near the end that's going to get it done, most likely, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The Jordan syndrome. You're not stopping Jordan. You're just stop Pippen.
Right. You got to stop everybody else.
I'm so glad you used Jordan as that analogy. It was perfect.
All right, man,
listen.
I'm glad you did that.
Let's get away from the second greatest player of all time.
It was the obvious choice to use.
And talk about maybe the other second greatest player of all time in his sport, Tom Brady. They finished the year.
How dare you?
Right after a Buffalo segment. Tom Brady.
Let's go straight to it. So they didn't win the division, which I picked them to lose that division to the Saints. But they did make the playoffs. They had a pretty good year by all metrics. What's your take on the Brady experiment in Tampa? Was it successful to you, just as far as the regular season goes? We all know that when you're talking about Tom Brady, you're talking about some of the GOATs. It's like championship or bust every year. But as far as this regular season thing and how it went, and bringing in Antonio Brown and the offensive changes and all the questions, like how would you guys sum up his regular season?
Well, that's actually interesting you brought that up, because I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm going to call my co-host out right now, because you picked them to not win the division.
I did. I was right.
And I picked them to win, but you did pick them to miss the playoffs. I actually checked.
I did.
The playoffs.
Because I didn't think they would win the division
No, for sure. And they did, and I don't have the full playoff standings, but not only it was a good division, being that New Orleans is really good. Carolina was better than they looked record-wise. Yeah. But I mean, they're 11-5, which puts them like 4th or 5th overall.
Yeah.
So that's a good year. And the other thing we discussed, and look, I made some crazy picks for NBA that I will stand by till the day I die. And I'm gonna have a bunch to answer for, but that's part of fun of the show, right? But we also said, I quote, and we being Joe, that thinking that Tom Brady can just be put, that guy, very disrespectful.
That's not disrespectful at all.
Can be put into that spot where Jameis Winston was, and they're just magically going to win 4 or 5 more games is, I quote, ludicrous to me.
Well,
ludicrous to me.
I didn't. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I'm going to say, I'm giving you a hard time, but they won 4 more games, and he looked much better than Jameis Winston.
Okay.
He had some interceptions, but he's also among the league leaders in touchdowns, and one of the other key stats. He had. I mean, it started a little slower and a little bumpy, but he had a great year. And if we're talking about hot teams, they're on a 4-game win streak going into the playoffs right now.
Yeah, but we got to – okay, so let's slow down a little bit here, okay? Let's start with the time –
I'm speaking facts.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit here, okay? Did I think that the Buccaneers would be better than they were last year? Yes. Did I think that they would be a couple games? By no standards did I think that you would input Tom Brady and they would be the same team. So I gave him that they would be a couple games better. They are kind of what I expected them to be. They haven't really won anything. They haven't really done anything. Even the teams that they beat, as far as their schedule goes, Tom Brady is 1-5 against teams that actually made the playoffs this year. Okay. And it's when you look at his own personal stats, they're not too hot against quality playoff teams either, right? So my take, I still stand strongly by my take that did they look better than what they look like with Jameis Winston? Sure. But are they runaway favorites? Are they? No, and I didn't think that they would be. And so I think that everything I thought was going to happen in the beginning of the year, he just kind of confirmed it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they get into the playoffs and then streak through the playoffs and whoop everybody's ass by 10 plus points, then I'll wear the egg on my face. But so far, I feel pretty confident in saying that they'll beat Washington, and then they'll probably have a second round exit.
Well, that's strong. I mean, that's strong to have them not in the playoffs.
I didn't think Super Bowls. I think to me, they were Super Bowl favorites in the summertime, and I thought that was asinine, and I still do.
Oh, asinine.
I didn't have that. Well, I had my Niners in the Super Bowl, so I was way off on that. But yeah, I didn't have them that high. But I think obviously a little more highly of Tom Brady than you do.
Yeah, at this point,
I had them winning the division. I definitely had them in the playoffs, and I didn't have them as a Super Bowl contender, but. I mean, I think it was a lot of fun, to see a guy go from a legendary organization. And I'm sure he's not mad at the fact that they did not have a good season, and probably feels like if he was there, they would have had a better season.
You talking about in New England?
Leaving New England. I mean, he's got a level.
New England has nothing, so I don't think that their season goes much.
But they've had nothing.
No, they had a little less than nothing this year.
The Patriot way is supposed to just make somebody's out of nobodies.
But they had less than nobody, and I think that's why he really pulled the plug for real, because he saw the less than nothing that they were going to have this year. I don't think that if he had a baby with Joe Montana, and that baby was the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football, that baby wasn't going to do anything with this team. It doesn't matter who played quarterback in New England this year, they weren't going to be a good team. And then in that same vein, he also went to literally the most talented offensive, team in the league, the number one wide receiver corp in the league, so that helps a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why my hopes were high for him. And
okay.
I just, even being a Bills fan, I was just okay, he's finally out of our division.
Yeah.
So let him go do his thing. Yeah. Then I'm seeing all the pieces that are put around him. Then once the story broke about Rob Gronkowski going there, and Rob's he's from Buffalo. So I'm thinking if he's coming out of retirement, he's going to come play in Buffalo. Why not?
Yeah.
But to go to Tampa with them, I'm they're about to do some damage. And I just figured they were about to be a highlight reel, the talk of every segment at the beginning of every show, and just really laying it on teams. I figured they would kind of have that start that Pittsburgh had. And it was just, I just feel like it was definitely a change of coaching, and how that happened. Everybody's trying to figure out, is it Bill or is it Tom? Who's really got the juice? And to me, it was both of them, That Thursday night game when it was fourth down and he thought he had another down and stuff like that, just just totally discombobulated. And I think those are the situations where they're in, where Belichick is going to have that, that side of the game together, and so when him and Arians, I feel like they weren't gelling in the beginning.
Yeah, they definitely weren't.
So that was a big part of it. Then, of course, adding Brown, I'm they going for the gusto. And Super Bowl is in Tampa. We're going to play the Super Bowl in our city.
They loaded up.
I was a little disappointed, but I am highly okay with.
I'm also going to give myself a little bit of kudos because when I went back and listened to that episode, we were talking about this, I think with Rhino, And I was like, yeah, especially if they looks like they're going to get Antonio Brown. And the two other guys on the show, Joe and Ryder, were like, that ain't going to happen. So I'm going to give myself some love for that one, too.
Well, you know what?
Man.
You know what? But listen, to our credit, the head coach of the team said that's not going to happen.
Right.
He literally, out of his mouth, said, I'm not, and he poo-pooed it just like that. Like, no, we're not doing that in the summertime.
It looked like a far shot.
Hey, if that's the case, if the coach said that's not happening and it happened, who do you think overrode the coach then?
Oh, Brady, for sure. Because that's his guy.
Exactly. He stayed at the house, so there's probably already friction right there off top. Like, I'm the coach. Like,
that's his guy.
You don't have that much power, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. I see them, I see them winning this week against Washington because I saw some people picking Washington because their theory was we've seen a mediocre Giants team with an amazing front four take Tom Brady and send him home before. Which it's right. Which is this Washington team, right? A mediocre team with an amazing front four. I get it. Tom Brady
that's a problem.
I get that, right? But this Washington offense is not hot at all. Like, you know what I mean?
Sweet.
It's not sweet at all. And I think that we're overlooking that part. Like, the Eagles would have won that game with players that they just pulled off a Broad Street and some people they found in a rec center and Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts finishes that game, the Washington football team with no name is not even in the playoffs right now. And they were trying to win the game. And we benched all our starters and have a rookie quarterback. And we literally would have – I think that was part of the outrage was that the Eagles looked like they were going to win that game if Jalen Hurts stays in the game. So this is the team that's going to go beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers with the loaded secondary. I don't see that happening. So I think that they win. And then I think that – the Seahawks beat the Rams, and I think that the Rams end up sending them home. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we made a couple of MVP predictions there. I think it was last week though, so I don't think JT got in on it. The question is, who's your MVP? Now that JT is here, and then also, do you feel like so Derrick Henry rushes for 2,000 yards, and he's one of 8 players to do this ever, right? He's been in the MVP conversation, quote unquote, but I don't think that anybody thinks there's a realistic chance of him winning the award. In the event that he doesn't, is this like a huge MVP snub to you? Because to me, it kind of is, but what do you think?
Man, I would have to take a look at, because different points in the year, I know I had different guys. At what point Mahomes was my front runner, and then him and Russell Wilson were kind of neck and neck. At the beginning of the year, Aaron Rodgers was the far and away front runner.
Yeah.
I remember later in the year, it looked like Russell Wilson was still, and then they struggled. I mean, if Derrick Henry got off to a slower start, but then he was in beast mode all year. If he was consistent and I saw him putting up monster numbers, I would agree. I would say you kind of have to give it to Derrick Henry because no one ran away at quarterback unless, and I'd have to look at Josh Allen's stats, but he might have to be in the conversation, to be honest. But I would agree with Derrick Henry. But what do you think about Josh Allen, Kevin?
He is it for me.
Oh, that's your MVP.
It's MVP. Anybody who's coming in, first of all, breaking Jim Kelly records, that's a amazing thing. The only record we don't want him to break is that Jim Kelly Super Bowl record.
Yeah.
That's the only one. You can leave that one alone.
People forget, including me, because I was a kid and I watched the teams. That Buffalo team, you think of Buffalo as like this defensive thing. They're in the snow a lot, and it's a slow pace. They were a high-powered offense.
Chucking
they were
bro.
The offense in the NFL.
Chucking it. I mean, Andre Reed, Thurman was running it through people's throats, so Steve Tasker, it's just – so anybody who's coming in to the city and breaking Jim Kelly records. Then I did look at some stats. Josh Allen has higher stats than our man in KC in Kansas City.
So Josh, I think that what happened there is Patrick Mahomes not playing the last game kind of skews his stats a little bit versus everybody else, because before that game, Patrick Mahomes was 4,700 passing yards, 40 total touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Josh was 4,000 pass, 38 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. It was really looking like a race between Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to win it because Pat didn't play the last game. So it skews the stats a little bit. And then the Green Bay Packers kind of was heating up towards the end of the year too. And so it kind of helps his the whole storyline and the aura of how you finish the year and everything like that. So I think Aaron will win it, but partly because it is really the hottest quarterback in the league award. And I think that the reason why, Derrick Henry is not really a serious candidate. He's a candidate by the numbers because he should be, because he is the most valuable player, because without Derrick Henry, they're nothing. And I get it. You can kind of say the same thing about, the Packers and for sure the Chiefs, but Derrick Henry is doing things that no one's ever done before. He's on a list of guys who are legit Hall of Famers, guys who have, they're statue-worthy guys. And he's doing this, and it's almost like people aren't really batting an eye at it as far as the MVP voters and things like that. And I think that we need to start, Brandon Marshall brought up a point in one of the shows that we need to kind of rethink this MVP thing, because if it's just going to be, the hottest quarterback award, like let's make it, the best QB of the year or something, and then make MVP something else, because I feel like this isn't the first time where a wide receiver or a running back has had an amazing otherworldly type of year and literally is almost an afterthought because the quarterbacks are just going to run away with the award because it's sexy and it's just the thing. It's just the precedent now. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
and they look at it as they look at it as the quarterback, which he does has the most overall influence because he's got the ball the most. But when you're feeding your running back like that and he produces in that way,
I mean,
it makes up for
it's
a lot.
him or nothing. Like that's it. You know what I mean? What you gonna say?
Are we really gonna say that Aaron Rodgers is the hottest quarterback right now? Like,
I think it's him. It's him or Josh.
Or Mahomes?
Yeah, no. I think it's him or Josh. Like, you know what I mean? But I think that Aaron is gonna take the award because of how he's led Green Bay into the past couple of weeks, and then his numbers are slightly better than Josh's, and then he's Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that he's one of the last legends of this generation.
And
to
they
be
like
in
owe
the
it to
mention.
him. They like owe him to. He got snubbed.
Man.
He got snubbed the one year. It's kind of like the. It's kind of
LeBron.
Like it's kind of like the LeBron thing, where like or the Jordan thing. That's one thing that that LeBron and Jordan fans have in common. They got snubbed almost every year. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Jordan deserves
they're
it
not
for
gonna
6
give it to
years.
the
They're
same
just not
guy,
going to give it to the same guys.
Yeah. I'll give him props though, man. To finish the year, I mean, 13-3.
Yeah.
And their defense was awful.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's much better now, but to go 13-3 this season, and he's up there in age, is impressive.
Yeah.
So McCarthy was the problem?
Clearly, because he ain't looking too high in Dallas. So how about that? That's a little conversation that has literally been settled this year, I think, in my mind. So what you gonna say, JC?
Well, I don't know. I was liking offensively. They were beast mode. They had to be because their defense was a junior varsity flag football team defense. But Dak Prescott, man, that dude was incredible before he got hurt. So it could have been a very different season. And when he comes back, if they can shore up this defense, the Cowboys might really, really be a contender.
It was just, really it was just the coaching. It was just the decision making for me. Like to me, yeah, I get it. Like you
He's
lost
not
your,
elite.
You lost your starting quarterback, but you also showed your ass a little bit. He looked lost in a lot of games. He looked like he got out coached. Some of the games that they lost, they still had more talent than the other team on the other side, and they lost because they got out coached.
There was that one game where they had the dude with the Italian last name in playing quarterback.
The dude with the Italian last name.
Oh, my, yeah, the pasta guy.
DiNucci, yeah. The pasta guy. Just the disrespect, okay? He's a professional athlete.
That was awful. That was awful. Kellen Moore came out of the Boise State. He played quarterback at Boise State. They were known for having that crazy offense.
Yeah.
They even beat Oklahoma, right? That one year, I think it was the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
It looked like they just said, let's go back into the Boise State playbook, Kellen Moore.
Yeah, right.
And it looked awful.
Yeah.
Poor decision.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna before we get to the association, we got to get some Super Bowl predictions. But I just want to know, the report came out that apparently Adam Schefter said that the Patriots have all intentions to move on from Cam in this offseason. What do you – I just want to know, what would you do with this Cam situation? If you're New England, are you letting him go? And if you're another team, like, do you want him on your team? Like, what do you think should happen with Cam?
Man, I think they kind of have to let him go, because if he's not going to be your future, then you want to figure out who is and go that direction. I mean, I'll be honest, like Jimmy G, I guess they're going to rock with him next year again with us in San Francisco. I was thinking they were going to start heading a different direction, but if they decided they didn't want to, I wouldn't mind having Cam, because he just played with a team that had very little talent.
Yeah.
We're loaded with talent. Nick Bosa's coming back. Somehow we managed to still be a good defense with all the injury. We had a record-breaking injury season. Record-breaking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No one's ever had that many injuries. He'd be in a situation where he, like Tom Brady, go to a situation where it's kind of already a system in place and talent, and give him a real shot.
Yeah. Who does the Patriots have, though?
They don't have nobody.
So it's like,
I mean, yeah,
you might have to rock with it.
But it's kind of been like that every year, though. And obviously, if they think they're going to change that, if they think they're going to start putting some talent, I don't understand how they don't have anybody. Like, I don't
either. I ain't gonna lie. I just
how
don't.
Did that happen?
Where has all the money gone? Because the Patriots' way for years was draft picks, and everybody takes a pay cut and all of this. Where has it gone? Like, I don't get that part of it. It's kind of mind-boggling to me. But to your point, Kev, what's the other option there?
That's what I feel. I think you got to stick it out. You might have to stick it out.
What are you moving on to? That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't understand that part. And then, like I said, it goes back to, it doesn't matter. Jesus in tights and a helmet would not win games with that football team. It just
wait a minute now. It just Jesus can do all things.
Okay, it's a little blasphemous. Okay, I know, but you get the point. Like, it's just that team has literally nothing, and so I feel like Cam got a little bit of a raw deal. At the same time, I got a chance to watch him in the last couple of games. He did not look great, and so I think that he does have some things that he needs to work on, and I saw some things that concern me. He was throwing the ball at people's feet and it was wide open, and it's happened multiple times. And I don't know if it's the injury or what, but I just think that we should give him, I think he deserves a chance to play with some talent so we can really have a good idea of what he can do at this stage in his career. And as an Eagles fan, I also feel like Carson is gone. Come on here to Philly. Let him compete, I'll quote unquote, compete for the job. Let him compete for the job with Jalen Hurts. And if he doesn't win the job against Jalen Hurts, but I don't think he would. But if he doesn't win the job, I would gladly welcome Cam to be our backup. If he comes in, we don't really have to change that much in the system. I like him in Philly if he wants to.
The question is he have that Carmelo spirit? Like, is he gonna want to be somebody's backup quarterback?
I know. And I think the answer to that is no. But this is
absolutely not.
And especially when there's so many teams that need that. If you like the Jaguars and the Jets are going to go to the draft, they're going to draft somebody. right? Trevor Lawrence is there. There's some other talented quarterbacks there. If you don't get one of those picks and you don't find something in the draft, there's going to be at least 5 or 6 teams. They're going to be like, well, let's just give him a shot because what else are we going to do type of thing, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So he'll have some other options, and it's going to, be like trying to think of an example, but there have been several guys who Sam Bradford, who just kind of got opportunities because of what he did his first few years in the league and just never quite got back to the same form.
Yeah.
But,
Cam had me hyped. He had me hyped right before the season.
Me hyped too.
His Instagram posts and just.
I thought they were gonna. I thought they were gonna at least make the playoffs. I did. I thought they were gonna at least make the playoffs somehow, and it didn't happen. So
maybe Washington could be a fit though.
It's a bunch of teams that need a quarterback, so it'll be interesting to see.
Sure.
Super Bowl predictions? Like, who do you guys think? You don't have to say who wins yet, but who do you guys think faces off? Who represents the AFC and who represents the NFC?
That's tough. I'm gonna go with it's kind of boring, but I'm gonna go with KC because I think we've had a lot of conversations about this, Joe. I tend to lean towards who's got the quarterback and who's got the coach, which Reed has had his issues in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, but at the same time, he's got, out of anyone he's going to play for the most part, Tomlin has experience as well. He's going to have the experience. He's got a great staff. They've got a solid defense, and we all know what Patrick Mahomes is doing. So, if I had to bet money, I would go towards the Chiefs and the AFC. The NFC is kind of crazy, but I'll go with the Seahawks. I didn't watch their last few games, but I think, again, experience and quarterback. Pete Carroll's a great coach. The defense has shown flashes of being decent, and the offense can be elite, and Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. And I'll say the Seahawks get it done.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, strong.
Who do you think?
I was definitely going to say the Seahawks.
Okay.
I was going to say them. Metcalf, just
he's a monster.
Different. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a little different. Yeah. And I think when like big lights, you know how it is. You get on that stage and it's like time to go.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course we saying experience from quarterback and then from coaching. And I feel Pete has to redeem himself from that situation.
Yeah.
But with them playing the Bills in the Super Bowl, they're not gonna come out victorious. So
okay, so I think that it's tough because at the top it's really like close to me in both conferences. I think that the Packers are gonna be in the Super Bowl. I think the Packers are gonna get it done. I like how they're looking, and I think that Aaron gets another one. I don't know if I think I'm not gonna say they win, but I think they make it there. I don't know who's gonna win yet. And I think as far as the AFC, I think the Bills might upset Kansas City. It's hard. Right. And that's the other thing is this is also not so much of it's not a slight to Kevin's waving the Bills flag right now. It's not so much of a slight to KC or even a bump up to the Bills, but it's hard to repeat in the NFL. It's very hard. The stars got to align. It's not the NBA. It's very hard to repeat in the NFL.
And it's a one game. It
is not a series. It is not a series. And so for me, it's you need a little bit too much magic to happen for you to go back and then. Even if the way they got down in the last Super Bowl, like, you know, it's like you just need a lot of things to go your way again. Right. And so I don't think that they're going to repeat. And so I think that I definitely don't think the Steelers are going to do it. I think that the Steelers have been smoke and mirrors all year. And so I see the Bills in the Super Bowl versus the Packers. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Let's get to the association. So JT brought it up. Steph dropped 60 on Dame. I heard some comments that Steph made, but I didn't hear what somebody else said. And JT alluded to it.
So first of all, man, I just want to say this. This is the most excited I've been about the NBA for so long. And part of it's that it came back. We had a shortened season. And part of it's that we started this podcast in COVID. Yeah. But Kevin, if you don't know, I'm a basketball guy. Like that was my sport. That's what I played. I played a little college. And
same here.
that was my life. That was my first love. So I'm just pumped, and it's crazy because I showed a list on here, which I had some very ambitious things going on with my picks.
Ambitious.
But you know what? It's crazy because some of the things I'm seeing, I was like, I thought the Nuggets were taking a step back. I didn't think, I mean, this is early in the year, but teams are struggling to find their identity right now. I had the Mavericks out of the playoffs, or at least out of the top 8. I made the playoff picks. I forgot that it was 7 through 10 is the extra spots.
Is the tournament, is the play-in tournament.
Right.
Yeah,
so I was thinking the classic 8 and then the 9 and 10 were going to play.
Yeah, because that's what they did in the bubble. They just changed it.
Right.
Yeah. Which is fine, but I'm just saying, like, I had the Mavericks out of the top 8. They're struggling so far, but it's interesting, man. I mean, the Pelicans, are balling right now. Zion, I mean, they look like a real team. Zion is in beast mode, and finally, Brandon Ingram looks like a superstar. He's closing games. Lonzo Ball finally looks like why he was one of the top picks in his draft now, right?
Yeah. He got a shot and changed up that form.
I mean,
his shot looked better finally.
I picked the Sixers mostly out of spite to miss the playoffs, and they're currently in first place right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to your point, so the thing was, and I looked up the quote. I think I have it right here. The quote is saying it's tough. It's been tough for him to get his own shot right now. He doesn't have Clay out there to keep him honest. But I don't know. Actually, I looked up 5. I don't actually see him saying he's mortal. And every headline I saw was that he called him mortal.
So I think with the other thing what Dame said was like he does a lot of showboating, talking about stuff. He does a lot of showboating and stuff like that. And he said something about how like he'll play around with the ball. And he said he ain't doing that no more. He's not doing that no more because he can't, because he don't got KD out there or somebody that's so now he's not just taking random shots and stuff like that, which is true to me.
I love that quote because that game, and keep in mind, like I had ambitious goals for my Warriors this year, even without Clay. But the reality is they get into only got 72 games now. So you've got to have all these new faces, a rookie center who's talented but young, and Draymond's out the first 5 or 6 games. You got to have all these guys start melding fairly quickly. Steph hasn't even really played with Andrew Wiggins. Kelly Oubre's just got it's going to take a while because it's a specific system that they put there, right? So when it got off to a rocky start, and we started off with the Nets, who are my pick to come out of the East, and Milwaukee, who's we know is at least a very good basketball team, I was like, oh, this is a tough way to start the year. Then they've been looking better. They get against a good Blazers team. We were down by a lot. We fought back to within 10 twice. I was like, all right, we can do it, right? And then he makes those comments, which from what I saw was very like, oh, he's mortal, like just whatever. And I'm sure they're friends. It wasn't mean, but he was like, oh, Steph's mortal.
I don't know. I think it's I think part of his 60 was motivated by Dame. Because I don't think
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what we do. The athletes do. Like, you take that chip, and he came out. Because I was wondering, I didn't watch for a while. I watched the beginning, and then I was watching the end. I was like, why is he still? They're up by like 20. Why is he still pulling?
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Later on, I was like, oh, he scored 62. He was trying to break 60.
Yeah.
At first, I was just like, oh, he's out here to kill him because of what Dame said yesterday, which I was totally okay with.
Yeah.
But also, it's nice to see them bounce back from a bad loss and smoke them.
But I love the back and forth drama. I'm here for it. But I didn't like Steph's comments. Kind of made me roll my eyes when he said something like, "Yeah, I hear people been talking and saying yada yada about me." I'm like, hold on, let's pump the brakes real quick. Bring it back.
Love it,
Steph, bro. You have got to, number one, this is still the regular season, number one. Okay. This was not a playoff game. This was not a game 7. The one thing that Steph has been cloaked in this babyface assassin protection from the media and the rest of the world somehow. Steph has been shielded from all of the same vitriol and the same accountability that a lot of other players, a lot of other greats that he would want to be on the same level as has to face, right? Steph has had numerous playoff games where he did not show up in big moments, right? It's very similar to what's happened the other day where Paul George had a good game and he talking like I hear people talking and yada yada yada. But in the playoffs, he's playoff. Playoff, and I want to. He pandemic P in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
I want to see what he does in the playoffs. But I will say this: Paul George is balling right now.
Yeah,
Paul George
again,
is balling right now.
Wake me up in the playoffs. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, he got that bread. He better be balling. He got paid.
Right. But wake me up in the playoffs because we do this every year with some of these guys, and Steph has missed a lot of the criticism that is warranted for his personal playoff performances, and Paul George has also he's gotten the criticism. Paul George has gotten the criticism. He warranted the name Pandemic P from this last playoff performance, but this has happened since his days in Indiana. So
Paul has never.
He's Paul has not been.
But he also hasn't ever been surrounded by like the team that Steph has had. Like Steph has been able to cruise.
That part too. Yeah, that part too. So that was the other thing that made me roll my eyes. Like, calm down, young man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what you do with a bag of cadaver dogs. Like LeBron James had to drag a team with Jonas Ilgauskas to the finals. Let's see what this is your year, Steph. Because now you don't have Kevin Durant.
Ilgauskas
Thompson is not there.
Ilgauskas was an all-star.
Klay Thompson is not there. So let's see what you do with this team. Let's see before you start talking. Let's see what you do with this team because the playing field is yours, Steph. So calm down with the I see you talking bullshit in the regular season before you do something, bro. Let's see what you do in the playoffs when it matters.
First of all, he doesn't sound like that when he talks. And second of all, that
was an homage to Mike Tyson or whatever.
That was actually good. That was good. Do not raise your voice at Mr. Curry like that. How dare you?
Mr. Curry.
Let me tell you something.
Mr. Curry, who has one of the hottest moms I've ever seen. Side note.
That's a fact. Not conjecture, not an opinion.
Also is going to go down. He already is, without question, considered the greatest shooter of all time. He's I believe, a two-time MVP. Is he a two-time MVP? And he has
all regular season feats.
He is a three-time NBA champion.
Three-time
NBA champion.
Iguodala.
Thanks to Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he's also showed up in big moments. He's also considered a huge clutch shooter, which he's proven time.
He
and
just
time
hasn't
again.
done
now,
it in the playoffs, you know.
But the regular season counts.
He hasn't. Absolutely, and he hasn't. He also built that shit. He was there from nothing. Him and Monte Ellis there getting that going.
It's not a lifetime achievement awards. When I say do it in the playoffs, I say do it.
But he has the accomplishments. He has more than enough accomplishments.
Yeah, he has a resume.
He's great. He's a great player.
He has a resume of team accomplishments. And I'm saying that if we nitpick when we talk about the greatest of the greats. And when we talk about the greatest of the greats, we got to talk about Steph Curry in the fourth quarter in overtime game versus the Rockets, where he went 0 for 6 and had one turnover and was literally a -6. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
or the fact that
I don't know if I put him
was 5 for 23 and 2 for 15 from 3. And this is like, these are the big games where he, even when they've won, he's not had great games.
But let's credit that to the other teams though, and their coaching and knowing you gotta put a body on them.
It's on you. You gotta show up. You gotta show up.
I would have to go back and look because I mean he has also had huge games in the playoffs. So I mean and he's a specific player. He is a point guard that is a scorer, but also loves to set other guys up. He's not a great defender. He's he's a toothpick. So I mean, and I personally, and I love Steph Curry.
Steph has flown under the radar. He's missed this criticism because he's the baby. Because I'm trying to tell you, and we all know these guys. If Steph Curry, if Steph Curry is any of those other guys, these moments, and you can go look them up. They're not talked about. That's my point. Is they're not talked about.
Well,
Steph Curry
I think
has games that will scream when you go look them up, and I've watched them, so I remember them. But people don't talk about them because Steph Curry is cloaked in this protection where you can't say anything bad about Steph Curry, or you can't be objective about Steph Curry because people will jump on you because he does not get the same criticism that everybody else is getting.
But that's what happens. And again, that a lot of this is team accomplishments, but that's also what happens.
Yeah.
First of all, when he has a reputation because he's a great dude. first of all, and he looks like he's 12. But second of all, because
that's the 12 thing, because LeBron James is a great dude too, but people will shoot him in the head if he takes a layup instead of a 3-point shot.
But the thing is, when you've also been part of a dynasty, you do get passes. You absolutely do. And I've had to witness, mostly in my lifetime, at least since the 49ers when I was a kid, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, I had to witness all the other dynasties going on, the Yankees and all these. You get passes. So, I mean, I know that's not just a personal accomplishment, but you get passes when you do a lot of winning. And I mean, I'm a Warriors fan. I love that he's got a chip on his shoulder. They're going to need him to do this shit all year long.
And I just want to see him do it in the playoffs, because this is the time where he's going to have to carry a team. He hasn't had to carry a team before. And so I'm interested in seeing how he looks when he has to carry this team. He
carried the Warriors with their first championship. He was the best player on the team.
I don't say. I think he was the best player on the team. I don't think he carried the team. I do not think he carried the team. And you look at his performances it's a concerning. So I just want to see it. I just want to see it in the playoffs.
The thing is, if he's got to do all of that all season, and then we're expecting him to do that in the playoff, that is a very big load, bro. It is. And so I'm concerned. I mean, I'm appreciating his swag right now. Yeah. He's gonna, like you said, he's gonna have to have that swag. Like, I was upset that they weren't in the bubble. Because if they were in the bubble with Clay, Dre, even KD, and then having to see players like for breakfast and all of that, y'all know who we are, y'all know what's up, so I kind of missed that part about it. But his swag right now, even what Draymond said, he wasn't effing around with the ball before the game. Yeah. He wasn't out there doing his, trick shots and all that. He was just focused on it.
When you got to carry the load, it's very different. And so now it's like, welcome to LeBron James world.
But I think it's also you, bro. But the NBA is also, it used to be a big man's league, so we know it's a guard league. So this is a marquee matchup, him and Dame, so it's like, I got to be on point. Let me get zoned in, because Dame can come in there and drop 60 real quick.
Yeah, he did this against arguably the best guard duo in the league, right? And a really good defensive team. So I mean, look, he's not going to score 62 every game. He's not. I mean, he's going to have to score in the 30s pretty much every game. But it's also, what's the word? Encouraging is that we got up to the start of the year. Oubre they brought in to kind of try to be a poor man's, Clay. And he was struggling unlike anybody we've ever seen. 0 for 17.
He does not look great.
Was playing out, but my point is he's stepping up. You got James Wiseman just in this Blazers game, and this has been kind of what's been happening lately. 12 points, 11 rebounds. He's blocking shots. You got Andrew Wiggins. He was struggling to start the year. Last 3 games he's been doing 18, 19. He had 21 the other night, 7 rebounds, D'ing up like he does. So that's what we need. We need those guys to just do what they do. Kelly Oubre, 17 points, 5 rebounds. If we can Pascal coming off the bench, 10 points, that's what we need. That's what I envisioned when I was making these predictions. If they can do that and improve, that they'll be okay. But he's still going to have to carry him. Heavy load.
What'd you say, Kevin?
Have you all heard about the supposed rumor with the trade? With they were saying Draymond, Wiggins, and Oubre to Houston for Harden.
Oh, wow. Off the top rope, I did not hear that.
I heard that.
Would you make that trade?
Yes, absolutely.
You got to.
Absolutely. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Absolutely.
You got to, because now you've got 2 elite scorers, and again, Steph can be the second guy. You know what I mean?
But I'm sitting there, I watched Harden last night dribble for probably 20 seconds.
For me, So listen, because we had this conversation a lot too about Harden with Sixer fans. Okay, so and to me, it's not because I want to augment Harden's status or what he does, because Harden is hard to watch for me sometimes. It's compare it to what do you have. So if I'm the Sixers and I have Ben Simmons, is James Harden better than Ben Simmons? Absolutely. So do I make that trade? 100%. If I'm the Warriors and I have Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre, and they're asking me for James Harden, is James Harden better than them? Yes, they are. So to me, it's not so
but
much.
They're asking for Draymond too, and let's not sleep on Draymond.
Let me tell you something. Draymond Green and Steph Curry combined for 63 points in this last game, and Steph Curry has 62 fucking points. Okay, so but I've been telling y'all this about Draymond for a while. Draymond is name only at this point. He is. He is the leader of the team. Listen, what I'm saying. He is the locker room leader. Two things can be true. He is the leader of that team. What I'm saying is that being a leader of a team does not mean that you are still in the same skill set that you were. Udonis Haslem was the leader of the Miami Heat and wasn't even starting. Okay, so I'm saying that he can be the leader of the team. What I'm saying is
Udonis was a veteran voice. He was not the leader.
What I'm saying is that Draymond has declined. And it's part of it is age and injury or whatever you want to say. Draymond is not the same Draymond from 2017. And
so what are we saying he's not doing now that he was doing back then? Besides kicking people in the nuts.
Well, he's only been back 2 games. He's been back 2 games.
I'm saying that Draymond, if they want Draymond in a package for James Harden, what Draymond will give you this year and next year is not going to eclipse what James Harden will give you. So for me, it's a no-brainer. We doing that yesterday.
The scary thing is fit, though. Like, people forget that Draymond would be, and this was in the heyday, but if he's healthy, I mean, he did it the other night.
You can find another Draymond. You can't find another James Harden. Not right now. In this stage of his career, yeah. You can find.
Do you know Draymond was guarding?
Tell me what Draymond does.
He can guard your 5. He's guarding your 5, your 4.
And rebound. And he can pass,
agitate. You know, it's not
you name role players. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can find
Dennis Rodman was a role player.
He's not Dennis Rodman. Not right now. He's not.
And there's guys that get called star role players. He's in a star role player category.
And I'm saying that you can make up for the loss of Draymond. You can't make up for what James Harden will give you.
Who in the league right now is Draymond? What, Montrez?
You can. Yes. I mean, Draymond does.
Is Montrez, is he hitting threes? Draymond can hit some threes.
Not really. So I'm not saying that what Draymond brings to the Warriors isn't valuable. I'm saying that you can find that value.
It's on Draymond.
No. I'm saying you can find that value. You can find somebody who can do the things that Draymond does. You can't find anybody who does what James Harden does.
I don't want James Harden on my team.
He's one of one. That's it.
I don't want James Harden on my team.
I don't want him on my team either, but I think the Warriors need him on their team. That's what I'm saying.
On paper, I get why you could see it that way, but when you watch him on the court and you see how important he is to the team, and he was among the assist leaders in the league when they were winning, and he was the assist leader the other night.
That was years ago.
No, but he's typically the assist leader on the team. I mean,
Draymond was bringing up the ball. He was. He's bringing up the ball and facilitating.
He does a lot of things that don't just show up on how many points he scored type of thing. You know what I mean? I think that's a tough replacement on top of being
and not at this stage in his career.
It's
not as tough. To me, it's an emotional thing. Y'all got to let the emotional strings with Draymond go. Okay. The Nets, real quick. The Nets had a hot start, and then it's a not so hot start, hot finish. What it's looking like the past couple of games, they dropped games to the Hawks. They dropped games to the Wizards. They dropped games to the Grizzlies, and they're also taking games off already. We're not even 10 games in.
Yeah,
they're sitting out games.
That game against the Grizzlies, they sat both their best players.
Yeah,
and they lost Dinwiddie.
They lost Dinwiddie.
That's tough.
So this is what I said about the Nets. I said, everybody slow down because real football and real basketball is not played the same way fantasy football and fantasy basketball is played. You can't. So this is my point. That's all I'm saying. I'm bringing this up to say this is my point. They already sitting out games. Y'all haven't played. Neither one of your star players has played a game in like 2 years, like legit. Like, so you should be very well rested. The team wasn't in the bubble, so the rest of them should also be scratching and clawing to play. But it's alarming to me. So let's just make note of that. It's alarming to me to see what's happening with them it's just something to pay attention to. The other thing is the Wizards are 0-5. The Wizards?
Yeah,
they won. They won.
They're now they've won
like
2 in a row.
Oh, did they win?
I was
started
concerned
0-5.
too. Yeah, I was concerned too. Rui Hachimura, who is a future star in the league, they were missing him. He's one of their top 3 guys. I think they're going to be fine, but it was a rough start. I've watched a lot.
Yeah,
of
I'm worried about him. I'm worried about him because I had the Wizards in the playoffs this year, and they're concerning me because they're in the East.
I did too.
Because they're in the East.
Because they're in the East. I got you.
Yeah, because they're in the East, and there's.
But the East ain't no punk though. The East is not a punk.
The East is kind of sweet.
I don't think the East is as bad as Joe does. I think it's not.
I don't think
who the best is.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's wide open. I don't think that it's bad. I think that it's wide open. There's, like you said, there's no runaway teams. And then they got Russell Westbrook. So that's a 2-time MVP.
I think they'll get it together. There's too much talent there, and
they were a playoff team with John Wall. They were a playoff team with a second superstar who was never there. So to me, when you take him out and you input a 2-time MVP, the logic should say they got better. And apparently they did not get better.
I'm not overreacting to them, just like I'm not overreacting to the Sixers being 6-1, the Magic being 5-2, and the Knicks and Cavaliers both being.
It's just how they look, though. They don't look.
Yeah, and I get it. I did pick the Hawks to be in the playoffs because I think their roster is stacked. I think they're going to be really good this year.
Playoffs this year. Not this year though.
Even with a 10 team?
No. 10 teams aren't making it.
No, but
I was going to take the Hawks over. Definitely the Hawks over Washington for me.
Yeah, the Hawks are nice.
No, Washington.
The Hawks are nice.
Bradley Beal had Washington in the playoffs by himself, and then he got Russell Westbrook.
So that's what happens with Russell, though. That's what happens with Russell and Kyrie, and James Harden.
But
that's what happens. They're culture killers.
But this will balance out, though, guys. This will balance out because I don't think the Knicks and the Magic
killers
and the Cavaliers, who I did pick weeks and weeks ago to make the playoffs. I forgot about that when I made my list. But they're improved.
They're not making the playoffs.
Some of these teams are not going to be. Well, what do we consider in the playoffs? Because the 10 is the playoffs.
1 through 8. No. So the play-in.
But 7 through 10 is a play-in.
No. Right. So so maybe maybe that's a good question.
But you're saying the classic seeding of top 8.
Yeah. Because to me, the 7 and 8 is like on the cuffs. It's like, you know what I'm saying. So to me, 7 and 8, you're playing to get into the playoffs.
In the hunt.
So to get in. Yeah. So when I say being in the playoffs, I mean at the end of the day, the playing games are over and it's just 1 through 8.
But wait. Okay. Well, if it's 1 through 8, I have the Wizards and Hawks still in the top 8 for sure. For sure. And I want to respond to you telling the Nets people to slow down. I'm going to tell you to slow down because I'm going to make a prediction right now on this show.
Oh, God.
I'm picking the Nets to not only go to the finals, but to dethrone your king and your Los Angeles Lakers.
Let's move on.
Oh, yeah. You really going to have to eat that one.
Okay, yeah. Let's go.
Not if Kyrie's taking more shots than Kevin Durant.
How about that?
Take the shots.
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take that L.
Take that L. Okay, so rapid fire close before we get out of here. Black Monday happened this week, as it does every year. In week 17, people getting fired. The Jazz, the Jets, the Lions, the Falcons, the Texans, and the Chargers all fired their head coaches. Who do you think? Well, first of all, what is the best job to you? Right now, the hottest coaching candidate is Eric Bieniemy. No figure, because that's how it goes. Kevin was talking about this. That's how it goes when you're a hot team at the end of the year, especially when you're in the Super Bowl. They come and they cherry pick everybody from your staff. And Eric Bieniemy was hot last year, and so I'm surprised that he was still there. So he's the favorite to have almost any job that he wants. But if you're Eric Bieniemy, what's the hottest job? What's the best job to you? To me,
can you name those teams for me again?
So it's Jags, the Jets, the Lions, the Falcons, the Texans, and the Chargers. To me, it's the Chargers.
Absolutely, followed by Houston.
Okay,
but 100% the Chargers. Yeah, Chargers because Justin Herbert's a superstar already.
Yeah,
he's an MVP candidate, legit MVP. They didn't win enough, but his stats are MVP stats.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
Yeah.
Are the Jags still getting the number 1?
Yeah.
Pick?
So the Jags will have Trevor. So you got Trevor. You got a lot of cap space, and you got some young talent there. But
building culture.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So you think the Jags is the best job? then he should take his jet.
I mean, for me, anywhere where it's not snowing.
Yeah, how about that?
It's not cold.
The Chargers are also reportedly interviewing Jason Garrett for the head coaching job. This is my issue here. Don't fire what's his name?
Anthony Lynn.
Anthony Lynn. Don't fire Anthony Lynn only to hire Jason Garrett. That's pouring salt on the wound. The fact that he's even being interviewed to me is mind blowing. But this is the NFL, so right. I shouldn't be surprised.
It's tough because I told you as the Giants were looking better, Jason Garrett had that offense even when they were losing, looking good. To me, he's the guy that turned it around, and I'm a fan of guys that have been in situations before and had some success and failed. I'm a fan of that. Like Belichick with the Browns didn't succeed, but you learn, and he's still young. Like, I'm a fan of giving those guys, and I think he's a sharp guy. I mean, he's not the sexiest.
Yeah, I think Jason Garrett, it's just the decision-making in big moments for me that really, like, turns me off to certain coaches. And Jason Garrett is that guy. He's going to be mediocre for the rest of his career to me.
Yeah, reputation precedes itself.
Yeah.
Can't get worse than Anthony Lynn, man. And I like Anthony
I think
Lynn.
you can. Jason Garrett.
Dude, did you see some of the calls from Anthony Lynn? It was bad.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I did. I would take him
you
over
were the
Jason
head
Garrett.
coach
Yeah.
of the Cowboys. They were,
who had all the talent in the world. So
America's team.
No, that's true. Yeah, I don't disagree there.
Yeah, Urban Meyer is reportedly seeking $12 million a year to come out of retirement for the Jags job. I guess the Jags are looking at Urban Meyer. I'm kind of impartial to the whole like retread college coach thing. I don't think they're as hot as everybody wants to make them to be. I wouldn't throw a boatload of money at Urban Meyer to come coach in the pros because we've seen this. They keep chasing this formula, but we haven't really seen it do great things. You know what I mean?
We've seen college coaches do well.
Not in the trend that it flows in. Like, it's like every time it's like let's go get the hottest college guy. You know what I'm saying? It's Chip Kelly, and it's and it's just like
right.
It's
we had Chip Kelly.
It's just like
what's his name came.
I don't love it.
Came and turned around the Niners out of Stanford. That was great. We didn't quite get it done in the Super Bowl. What was the coach, the brother of the Baltimore coach? Harbaugh.
Harbaugh.
Then, Pete Carroll obviously came out of college. Now the interesting thing with Urban Meyer is
they do this every year.
He hasn't even coached. He's been gone.
Yeah,
Urban Meyer hasn't been coaching.
That's my other thing about it. Like, I don't love that.
Legend in Florida, so I guess it makes sense. But I mean, again, like, unless there's a better pick out there, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think there's no better time though if you got a college standout getting ready to come into the league. First round draft pick and Trevor.
Yeah.
And you be able to kind of build that culture with him and kind of dip your, just get his wings back under him, with coaching and maybe just revert to some of them college ways that Trevor might still be, a little accustomed to. So it might be a good marriage.
Yeah.
The interesting thing now with that is always that in college, it's so much about recruiting.
Yeah,
that says everything about your program.
That's the other thing, coach. And that's why it doesn't always translate. Yeah, that's why it doesn't always translate because you don't have an influx of talent, just a straight streamline of talent like you do if you're at Alabama. You don't have to. You just sit back and let the top draft picks roll in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Rudy Gobert and Shaq. Or I shouldn't say Rudy Gobert. Shaq has some type of beef with Rudy Gobert that I don't understand. But Shaq has been doing this for a while. So if you're not watching, we put up a graphic where Shaq posted a picture of him dunking on Rudy Gobert and said, I would have 45 and 16 in 10 minutes and 10 missed free throws in 3 quarters. He would have 11 points, 4 rebounds, and fouled out in 3 quarters. And then Rudy Gobert responds by saying, there is no beef. If people want to keep speaking negatively about me or keep discrediting what I do, it's on them. And all that does is show who they are. I will always be happy for a brother beating the odds, and I'm going to keep beating the odds. Shaq is continuously going at the players of today for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Is this like an ego thing or he feels threatened? I don't know why he would feel threatened by Rudy Gobert. But I don't get it. I don't like. Why do you keep shitting on these guys? Like Rudy Gobert is not on your level, bro. Like punch up or sideways.
It's interesting because they annoy him for some reason. These guys get paid these big contracts because he's always talking about what they're getting paid and if they deserve it.
Absolutely.
And he had the thing with JaVale McGee.
And Dwight Howard, and it's like.
Yeah. But, you know, and it's weird, too, because he had a reputation that he should have been better longer if he would have stayed in shape and been conditioned, right?
Yeah.
Like he should have been greater longer, right? And it was sad seeing Shaq, and I was always a big Shaq fan. But it was sad to see him playing with the Celtics at the end of his career and the Suns and the Cavs. And, you know, I mean, it was an opportunity to play with the future second greatest player of all time in Cleveland, but it still wasn't like, you know, it was sad to see him.
Jordan played in Cleveland? I don't think he did. Terrell Owens continues his beef with Donovan McNabb over this puking thing that happened in the Super Bowl. They just got to kiss and make up, y'all. This was years ago. I'm an Eagles fan. I let it go. I just moved on.
Who puked? Donovan McNabb?
He said Donovan. The story is that Donovan was out the night before the Super Bowl, and in the huddle, he didn't have a great game. And that in the huddle, he bent over and puked. And Donovan has been denying this for years, and T.O. swears that it happened, and he's like, ask anybody, they'll tell you he did it. He puked on the field or whatever. And so he was on the podcast and he was talking about it, and he was like, yeah, like he's lying, like he puked, he did it, like why would I make it up? That's what he said. They just gotta kiss and make up. Like this is
just get over it.
This is silly, guys. Ben Simmons hit his third career three-pointer, bringing him to 2 and 24. And this is the guy. Hey, congratulations, Philly Sixers fans. This is the guy who you prefer to have over James Harden. So let's see how many.
He's shooting them. He's shooting them. And look,
him and Dwight getting them up after him and Dwight being after the games, bricking after the games.
And they got help in there. You know, they got Dwight and they got Seth Curry, and. You know, I mean, if he's just going to shoot him and at least be a threat, they could be a lot better. Right now, they're 6-1.
He's at 3, so we'll see. He's lighting on fire so far. Kevin Durant is facing a 7-day quarantine due to COVID exposure. He could miss the next 4 games. Some girl that Von Miller was involved with leaked text messages between him and her. And basically this is a lesson that you guys gotta, I'm talking about in all walks of life, musicians, athletes, y'all have to be more protective, especially when you got something that's worth something. And you know what I mean? Especially when you have a future or you have something worth losing or a brand worth being worth protecting.
Let me tell you what, I hope I'm not ever famous. I'll tell you that right now.
Pay attention.
There's some stuff out there.
Listen.
Oh no.
It will go unsaid.
Pay attention.
Only fans.
Pay attention.
There's some stuff. There's stuff out there. I try not to include my face.
Yeah. Pay attention to who y'all lay with, okay? Because the girl is now posting the tweets. One of the conversations was him saying, "I'm so disappointed in myself," and then she's saying, "Me too." And then he said, "This is the biggest mistake of my life," because she's telling him she's pregnant, and he's like, she's like, "Okay, please, I don't want to block you." And then he says, "I honestly am praying for a miscarriage." She takes that, she screenshots it, she puts it on her stories. It's trending on Twitter, and then she has another one a screenshot that she posted where he's saying, "Just fucking disappear and get an abortion. You're so whack for this. To keep somebody's baby, you're lame as hell." And she's like, "I'm beyond disappointed. You've been trying to get me pregnant for years. Cut it out." It's like this whole, but she's posting all of this. Y'all can't just be. Also, stop sleeping with these retread chicks. These chicks who done been through all your team and your friend's team and all of the Clippers and all of the Lakers and
the NFL.
And the NFL. And stop sleeping with these chicks and then being surprised that she's posting about it the next day. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So now, like, Von Miller is just being trashed all over social media, you know, because the one screenshot that's gonna live on is him saying, "I'm praying for a miscarriage."
Dang.
Which let's be honest, we all are, but I'm praying for you, Vaughn.
Hey,
I'm praying
let's
for
be
you,
honest,
Vaughn.
okay?
No judgment. 2 kids. I'm praying for you.
No judgment. We've all been young and dumb before. And we've all been involved with people who we should not have been involved with. So let's not put, hey, let's not judge him too harshly. Like sometimes I think everybody's been there. Yeah, everybody's been there where you kind of praying for something to happen. Okay.
Vaughn, we're praying for you.
Yeah, so we're praying for Von Miller. Last but not least, a friend of the band and a friend of JT's, country artist Tyler Rich, found a dead body on New Year's Eve. This was a weird story because to me, when I read the story, it said that he was jogging in Massachusetts, and then he came across this body who he thought was a homeless person, and then he ran to go find somebody to use their cell phone. And I said, Tyler has to be a suspect in this story, because why are you jogging in the dead of winter in Massachusetts and also without your phone? That just seemed very weird to me. But so the story was out there. It was trending on online, and it was on TMZ. But it's creepy because he found a body.
Can I say this real quick? When I first saw it, I don't remember what I was doing, but I was half paying attention.
Yeah.
I think I had just woken up, I told you, right?
Yeah.
What I read first was Tyler Rich found dead.
Oh, see,
that's what I read.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that wasn't
and then
it.
I look up the other headlines, and they were cut, they're short. So I keep seeing this, and I'm at my cousin's house. I'm like, no way, this is crazy. And like, what happened? Like, Tyler Rich, he's from up north. He's from near here, and he's a country artist. My buddy plays with them, and we know him, and he was found dead. And then I opened the thing, and then I really like, and they're like, and him and his wife are like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is going to be huge here. And then I'm like, oh, no, he found a dead body. And they're like, Jesus Christ, JT. Jesus Christ.
Big difference.
Way different.
Way different. Finding a body and ending up dead is,
but hey, listen, I go jogging without my phone all the time.
No, you don't, JT. You don't. I've been on the road.
I do.
You've never left the hotel to go to the gym or just left your phone.
I do bring it, but I don't bring it jogging. Like when I leave the house here to jog, I don't bring it with me because it's so damn big.
You don't listen to anything jogging?
Yeah, like you don't listen to music or a podcast, or I don't know anybody who works out without their phone. I know nobody.
When I jog, I don't. When I work out, I do.
You just listen to the wind, just going.
Yeah, I like. Actually, I do. It's like almost like meditation for me. Yeah, no, real talk though. Okay. And if he's at his wife's house, maybe he should have. If he's in the dead of winter, but
and you all said this was in Massachusetts?
Yeah, this is in Massachusetts. Boston? Why are you jogging on ice?
It sounds like some Aaron Hernandez type.
Yeah, not Aaron Hernandez. It sounded suspect to me. Like at first, I was legitimately concerned because, like JT said, we know him. Our buddy plays with him, and then I said, "What? I don't understand. This story is a little shaky, bro." Like, so not saying that it's Aaron Hernandez, but Aaron Hernandez-esque, like it's just a little, I don't know.
Well, we're glad he's okay.
We're glad he's okay. That's the moral of the story. Shout out to the whole Tyler Rich family.
I don't think Tyler Rich killed it like O.J. Simpson. I'll say that. I don't think he's got that.
You know what? We getting out of here. Kevin Kemp, thank you so much for joining the show today.
This was amazing, man.
Man, we can't wait to have you back. When y'all win the Super Bowl, you definitely got to come.
Oh yeah, I'll be in Tampa when.
You going?
Just let me know. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. I already bought my ticket by faith.
Period. That's it. Speak it into existence. Can you tell the people where they can follow and support anything that you got coming up next?
Oh man, I'm on Instagram, Kev_Camp, Facebook. I'm not really on the Twitter like that.
Me neither. I'm not
maybe my MySpace, that might still be up. But just look out for me. I got YouTube, Campground TV. We'll be kicking up some more things, within this year. So I'm excited about that, and got some records and some artists from our label about to release. So. Yeah, man, just stick with me and appreciate this opportunity, man. And this was great, man. This was awesome.
Dope. Thanks for coming on. I'm at Joe Connor 33 at everywhere. Make sure you go to the YouTube and like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when we are dropping the video. My Splice pack is still up on Splice. Go get it. Go download it. It's the Philly Lo-Fi pack. Check it out. And then hit me up and let me know what you guys think about it, what you think we could do better. Working on some more stuff. working on some music with Otherwise and Blessed. We got the record for The Answer. The Answer is coming out, and the music video will be shortly after that, next month, hopefully. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that and stay tuned.
Yeah, JT Harker for everything, the music. We've got the new single, How About You, coming out officially the 15th of January. So January 15th, I leave for Mexico the next day, but I'll be on social media talking to you guys about it, because I get, we'll be pushing it. And that's on Stepside Records out of Nashville, and JT Harker Sports for all the I repost everything we do here and talk about a lot of stuff. I give Joe a lot of shit on that page that I can't give him on this page. And also shout out to DeMontis Sabonis. I bought his card for $15 in the bubble, just sold it for $65. Thank you, DeMontis, for balling.
Oh, dope.
And that was my first real legit sale.
Oh, dope. It is.
Come up,
man.
The first
and
one.
Shout out to Calvin Ridley for signing a jersey for my son for Christmas. His Uncle Jeff got him a Calvin Ridley. Slide Rid, I guess is his thing. Slide Rid.
Oh, dope.
Austin is all stoked on that because he's a Falcons fan. Shoot me in the head.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Subscribe to everything.
Thank you guys so much.
Everything.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been another episode of Backstage Sports Podcast. Until next time, be safe and be great.
Backwards.
Peace.
Oh, man.